What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And Ethereum is pumping right now, hitting about $4,500, and we are approaching the previous all-time high. So I wanted to drop a quick little market update for you guys. I'm going to start here on the Ethereum chart, and then we're going to jump over to Bitcoin. I'll give you guys a quick breakdown on Bitcoin as well. But as we have been bullish on Ethereum recently here, we are now seeing it continue to the upside, again tapping that $4,500 level. So I wanted to cover some of the key targets above us as we are approaching that all-time high. There's not much resistance above us. So I'll give you guys a quick breakdown on the Ethereum chart. We'll jump on over to Bitcoin. I'll give you guys all the sauce on Bitcoin as well. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead. I'm going to try to make this one quick. So let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. So guys, here we are on the Ethereum chart, and as you guys can see, we're getting a beautiful pop to the upside here, sitting at about $4,500. And as you guys know, we have been bullish here on Ethereum for quite some time, all the way down here at the lows, but especially ever since we broke above this value area low at about $2,100, with our high time frame, specifically the 2-day money flow crossing over into the green, which you could see started to happen right here, indicating we would be putting in higher lows and higher highs to see that overall trend continue to the upside. And we have also been approaching major resistance, and we have been covering this over our past live streams recently. And that key level that we were approaching here, guys, was that brutal $4,000 resistance that we have been rejected from so many times, even back here in 2021. We kept getting slapped down by this level, and every time we came up to that $4,000 level, guys, we just got slammed down. And on our last recent Ethereum update, guys, we started to peek our head above here, which was looking pretty good, because not only is this the major $4,000 horizontal resistance just from a super basic standpoint, but this was also our macro 786 Fibonacci retracement, which was pulled from the all-time high in 2021 all the way to the bear market low of 2022. And this is the line in the sand, guys, to hold in order to see new all-time highs to come in for Ethereum. And I will go over some of those targets with you. But if you have not seen my bull market price predictions for Ethereum, I will link the video or put a card here above. So go check that out if you have not seen that. But I will go over some of the upper targets here, guys. But as we started tapping this, we looked at this on the live stream and the Ethereum updates we've been dropping. And now that we have broken above this level, guys, this level at about $4,000 is going to be absolutely key. And we are hitting some local resistance I'll go over as well. But we had a beautiful fill of this volume profile. We broke out, bullishly retested that value area high, where we also had key levels of support we were looking at. And we did indeed flip that value area high to support. And we are now starting to get a bit of a breakout. So where is Ethereum headed from here, guys? Well, I'm going to take off this resistance, and I will just bring up an upper range. And this upper range has been pulled all the way from back here in 2021. We actually looked at this in the past back in 2024 when we approached these levels. We wound up actually rejecting the value area low POC, and we rejected the value area low again, and then we rejected the value area low POC once again. But now, guys, we have finally broken above that POC. And when we look at this from a simple volume profile perspective, guys, you could just see the accuracy of these volume profiles, not only enabling us to call for the bigger trend to the upside, filling this range in full, but you guys can see here, even on the lower time frames, we came up to this local volume profile, and it has been respected absolutely perfectly so far. We came up to the value area low, hit our head, broke above it, and flipped it to support beautifully here, hopping above that value area low, flipping it to support. At that point, the next likely place for price to go is that POC. Once you get above that POC, you can start your journey up into that value area high, which is sitting at about $4,536. This is the next key level of resistance, guys, and I'm not gonna lie, there is not much above this in my opinion, other than the previous all-time high, which is actually coming in right here. I'll just mark it off with a horizontal line. This is sitting here at about 48.68, and that is about the only other level of resistance we have above this, guys. Now, don't be concerned if we get pullbacks here. You know, we could see bigger pullbacks. We've covered those larger levels in the Ethereum update, as well as like all of the live streams, so I'm not going to go over those in this video. But as we approach this value area high, guys, we have flipped that major $4,000 level of resistance, and we are now getting that push into this level, guys. So we might be able to bing bong inside this volume profile. This value area high sits at about 45.34. So if we do wind up bing bonging around here, we could potentially see some rotations of this profile. But at the end of the day, guys, if we're able to break out here and crack above this all-time high, you know, we are already above that major 786, which is the overall doorway to higher prices, or all-time highs in this case. So this volume profile sits again between the value area high at 45.34. By the time you're watching this, we may have already tapped this, but we have the POC sitting here at $4,083, which is very, very close to that 786. And then we have the value area low sitting here at about $3,900. And if we get the bigger pullback, guys, and we wind up losing this range, again, we do have bigger levels of support here if we do go for that bigger retracement. And I will still be looking for buy the dip opportunities. But if we are able to stay above this point of control /786, if I pull that 786 up, guys, you can see it is sitting right here on the POC value area low. So we could just look at this range. As long as we're able to pretty much just stay inside this range, we may be able to get an earlier breakout here. And it's not just the cracked levels of resistance that we're seeing and the peaks above these major levels, but we also have those huge market cipher B bullish indications with the weekly money flow crossing over into the green here, which could indicate a large continuation to the upside. These weekly money flow crossovers are nothing to scoff at, guys. This could be the sign we need to see things go into all-time highs. We have the weekly money flow crossing into the green, the 6-day money flow in the green, the 5-day money flow starting to pop into the green as well, which means that you could see the continuation up. And again, corrections could come in, but overall, that trend to the upside is likely to continue, in my personal opinion, at least based off the charts here. And that would still be the case even if we had to go for a bigger retracement down. But this is very exciting for Ethereum. And on top of that, guys, we also have the potential rate cuts coming down the line. And this was actually at about 84%, I believe, yesterday. And this has popped back up to about 94.2%, which would obviously be very, very good for alt season here, guys. And on top of that, we've been looking at things such as Bitcoin dominance. We've been keeping a close eye on this, attempting to get another breakdown out of this range with money flow coming out. And, we've covered this so many times. We could still see turbulence here if we come back inside the volume profile. But overall, guys, with this money flow coming down on dominance, this would be a very, very good sign. This is the 5-day money flow on dominance. We've been looking at the 2-day money flow, looking to cross over into the red here very soon. And our daily money flow is already in the red here. So this could be a very, very good sign, guys, with the rate cuts coming down the line. Dominance, even if we get bounces here, still looking pretty weak in my opinion. This is very, very likely going to assist this move to the upside for Ethereum as it's continuing to creep closer to that value area high. But the question is, guys, if we get the breakout, what are those next targets that we can look at? Well, very simply put, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take that resistance off the chart, and I'm just going to pull a simple Fibonacci extension here. I'm going to pull it from this previous high all the way to the low. I'm going to pull up those extension levels. And if you guys watched our previous Ethereum update that we dropped on Sunday, I believe, our local target here was about $4,300. We've already tapped into that level and broken above it. But if we take a look at some of these extension levels, guys, you can see that first extension level is sitting right in line with that all-time high. So we're obviously going to have to be looking at that as some kind of a resistance. We may be able to get turbulence there. So we do have to be a bit careful in case we have to see a bigger pullback come in. But above that, we have two other extension levels, one sitting right here at about 42.35. And then above that, we have that 47.91 extension level as well. So these are going to be the next local targets to the upside that I will be watching. And this 47.91 level is close to our first macro bull market target for Ethereum. That major bull market target is going to be sitting on that Fibonacci pulled from the high all the way to the 2022 bear market low. You can see it is sitting right there at about $5,800. So you do have that confluence with our local fib targets and that macro bull market target number one at about $5,800. But we know that you could see turbulence along the way. So if we're able to maybe bing bong around here, but break out and snap above this all-time high, guys, first local target will be 52.35. And then if we're able to pop above that, we'll see if we could come into that first major bull market target. And again, if you guys want all my targets and my full thought process here long-term for Ethereum, check out that ETH bull market price prediction video. I'll link it in a card above here. But this is the first major target between $5,800 and that $6,500 zone. So this is going to be bull market target number one for Ethereum. And when we take a look at something like Bitcoin, guys, that same exact Fibonacci extension target was sitting here where we had our first major all-time high come in before a cool-off. And this would be that bull market target number one on Bitcoin. But for Ethereum, that would be sitting here between $5,800 and about $6,500. So that is major target number one. I'll give you that little freebie before you watch the Ethereum price prediction video. But I just wanted to jump in here, guys, and give you those local targets to the upside, because sometimes it seems crazy when we feel bullish on something and a lot of people are just thinking it's a dead asset. But I like to show you guys how we're able to predict this stuff, right? Volume profile number one, filling in full on that macro profile. And then even when we look at some of these other profiles we had looked at, these have all filled absolutely perfectly with every single volume profile target respected beautifully here, getting above the value area low, next target being the POC, and then we go right into that value area high, flip the POC into support for the bigger move up. So these volume profiles are absolutely absolutely goated for calling these targets, guys. These are how we make a lot of our beautiful calls here on the charts. So you guys could just see, once again, another volume profile, perfect reactions on all of these levels. And as you can see, it does look like we are filling that profile in full. So I just wanted to go over those local targets with you guys. So if we can crack above this $4,500 value area high, watch about 47.50 up to about 48.73, near that all-time high, break above. We're going to be looking to cook up to about 52.35, break above that. We could start looking at that beautiful, beautiful major bull market target on Ethereum between $58 and $6,500. We're right on time here, guys, with the rate cuts, with dominance breaking down, and the bullish signals on the Ethereum chart. And obviously, if we could see Ethereum move here, we might be able to see those other altcoins cook to the upside, following right behind Ethereum. And I'm not going to go over the case of a bigger pullback, guys. There is a case where we can see a larger pullback come in, but this would not change my longer term sentiment. But in case we do get an aggressive breakout here, I want you guys to be aware of all these local targets above, because they have been slapping perfectly so far. So hopefully, whether we come up here early or if we have to go back for that bigger retracement before coming back up, all these levels are going to remain exactly the same, and I'll keep you guys updated here as price action develops. But shout out to all the patient ETH holders. It is starting to look pretty good. Now, before I let you guys go, I do want to take a look at Bitcoin here with you guys really quick, just give you a quick little rundown of what I'm looking at here. Now, we did actually catch a beautiful little scalp long here from the $118,000 key level of support into our value area high golden pocket 786 retracement. We got that to play out beautifully. I am still holding a portion of this trade to let it run in case we do want to break out here. And when we look at market cipher B here, guys, I will say 30-minute money flow is coming up with a potential green dot incoming. We also have an 8-hour green dot potentially looking to print. So if we can print that green dot on the 8-hour with that 30-minute money flow crossing over into the green, we might be able to see this long run a little bit higher. Now, I am not only holding this scalp long that we took yesterday in the Discord from that $118,000 level, but I am also holding a bunch of other long positions from lower. So I actually did take a little bit of a hedge short position from this major level of resistance. But to be quite honest, guys, I would not be shocked, and I would honestly prefer just to get stopped out of this position and have all my other longs run. It would be a very small loss on the short for a very, very nice continued gain on all of my multiple long positions that I have running. So right now, our current volume profile that we are sitting in is sitting between the value area high at about $120,000. You can see the beautiful rejection from that Fibonacci confluence on that value area high. So if we are going to continue down, maybe we see that scalp short continue to play out to the POC. If we wind up losing that POC, we might be able to get that bigger drop to the downside towards our value area low, coming closer to about 116,247. And we will assess that situation if we do get the move to see if we could catch new long positions from there. But my sentiment remains the same on Bitcoin, guys. Obviously holding longs from lower, potentially anticipating that final phase of the bull market to come in, where Bitcoin can finally go into its last all-time high, and then we can see Ethereum continue to run. We could see the alts continue to run. The rate cuts could come in. But I am ready for pullbacks here, guys. Nothing goes up in a straight line, but the overall context in the market is very, very important. The way we were able to identify that this was going to be a lackluster retracement to the downside was by watching the higher time frame money flow, understanding that a higher low and a potential higher high, even though we have not gotten it yet, could still be in the cards. So multiple longs running on Bitcoin, got the little hedge short, which I'm happy to get stopped out of. I just wanted to be covered in case we do get a move to the downside. I want to be able to capitalize on that position. And with the way I'm hedged to the upside, I could take some pretty low risk shots at shorts here and get stopped out with literally almost zero negative effect here. Because if we break out, that small loss is going to get eaten up by those long profits. So very, very nice to see here. But I'm going to look for that 30-minute money flow crossover into the green. If I get stopped out of the short, no big deal. And if we do wind up getting the lower high here and we continue down, I will be covered there and make a little bit of money on the short. But again, even if we get that bigger pullback, guys, my longer term sentiment here is going to remain bullish. And here is that little scalp long that we took yesterday from that $118,000 POC up about 555 on the day. Not too bad. I did lock in some profits to cover those fees, and I'm also holding multiple long positions. Another one sitting over here on Blowfin here, up about $2,400. I do have realized profit here. I don't know why it's not showing here. It's just kind of like two green lines, but I do have about $800 $2,500 locked in on this, $2,400 unrealized, and I'm also holding multiple other longs. I'm not going to pull up every single one, but these are the two. One scalp long from yesterday in the premium Discord, up 566, and then we have this other long here, up about $2,400. I have a couple other positions open in similar profit here, so going to continue to hold these. I'm probably going to trail my stop loss up here a little bit as well. Very well positioned here in the longs with, again, that little scalp short that I'm in, which is on another account. It is close to break even. I think it's a little bit in profit, but we'll see what happens there. If I get stopped out, no big deal, but very, very nice to see here, guys. We'll see if we could crack above this value area high and get the breakout, or if we'll get that short to push us back to the downside. But either way, guys, I'll keep you updated here with all the key levels and my trades and trading plan and what I'm looking at next, not only for Bitcoin, but also Ethereum. So come on, Ethereum. There's that $4,500 level getting tapped on Ethereum right now. Absolutely beautiful. So, guys, I will keep you updated here on the live stream at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll talk about some of the bigger pullbacks if we have to endure them. We'll talk about that later tonight. But shout out to the ETH holders out there. It is starting to look very, very good. So I just wanted to drop this quick market update, keep you guys in the loop on what I'm looking at next here for price action. And with all that being said, that's all the time I got for today's video. If you could, like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our urgent market updates or live streams. If you guys are looking for a place to trade, you can check the affiliate links down in the description down below. And if you're learning how to trade, you can check the suggested videos in the card here at the end. And with all that being said, that's all the time I got for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. ETH to the moon. Frankie Candles out.
Go. At the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide.